Already leaving the theatre, walked home, he said, "I love you so much, Susan, but there is something inside me that is killing me. I do not know if more support, so I want you to know I love you past what?" After the sentence, out of a dead tramp, and Susan took the bag. The hurt. I was angry. Wait, what? I wanted to kill him for hurting Susan, chased him with a knife he had kept in my jacket. I dragged him to the alley where he stole my beloved bag in front of her and forced him to apologise, but it still was not enough. He wanted to take his life, but before I told Susan, "Run, do not want you to see this. I love you, Susan, and do not want to see this." He ran as far as he could. I knew it was time. I told the guy, "Will not forgive you for hurting Susan. She is so good, so pure. It is a crime to hurt her. Very serious. So I'll take your life, and only then will pay for hurting her." I picked up the knife. Hang on. And began stabbing him repeatedly. Could only see suffering in the eyes of the man, but still kept stabbing him until he died of multiple stab wounds. Wiped the blood from my leather jacket, the which was a bit stained, fortunately, only that he had spotted, so it was easy to hide the fact that he killed the thief, and left the alley and found Susan in the corner coffee shop taking a good strong espresso. She was fine. The manager had bandaged his wound. I thanked him. Susan carried carefully home. I took her to her room and lay down on his bed. I said, "Susan, you did not want this to happen, but I've noticed one thing. Would not let anyone hurt you. Starting today, you'll never be afraid. No one will hurt you, I swear." Kissed her and went to take a shower. I realised I could not kill her. Of course. She was all I had in the world. Was the only person he loved, but he enjoyed killing that guy's dead. But he could not kill any more. I decided to just kill people, hurt the innocent, people who do evil to people that I care, and above all, that he would kill anyone who tried to hurt Susan. Days passed, and more people killed, but it was annoying to have a pants full of blood, so buy a leather pants, then kill was less annoying. A jacket and trousers, both of leather, which could easily be cleaned with white gasoline he had bought in a while. Killing became a habit, increasingly bored with simple stab was very repetitive, so I was using more twisted ways each time. Some were burnt alive with gasoline, others operated without anesthesia, others forced to eat his own guts, others being cut into pieces and thrown to stray dogs, but never killed any innocent criminals and thugs, killed only those. Does that not make me a hero? Stop making criminals suffer the most horrible ways, every day using the most horrible and twisted ways to kill. Came home, cleaned my clothes in the blood of criminals, and spent quality time with Susan, until one day, V invited him to dinner, as I had a job as a cook in a restaurant, earning well. But I took her to a very beautiful place. In the light of the candles, I said, "Susan, we've been together almost a year. I know you're the love of my life, as I could not live without you. I want to propose something." I got on my knees and pulled a ring from my bag. "Will you marry me?" He was excited, and with tears in his eyes, he said, "If Lou, I want to marry you." We left the restaurant. I had not been so happy in my life, but a dam came with a gun and shot him. I was filled with anger and hatred, but Susan could not leave her there alone, bleeding, dying. Ran and took her to the nearest hospital. The doctors told me, "This is very delicate. You might not wake up. Expect the worst." That was too quick. You've got to at least say he jumped out from behind dustbin and shot her and then ran or something, instead of just, "But a dam came with a gun and shot him." I went to get the dam who shot him. He would never forget his face. Spent hours walking the streets until I found it. I hit nearly senseless and said, "Give me your life. Because of you, my Susan is on the verge of death and will pay with your life." Died in the time you finished the sentence. I arrived at the hospital. The doctor said that Susan had awakened. It was to talk to her, and I did. Since Susan's room, she saw me and said, "Louis, is that you? I'm glad you came. Hope to resist as well as you managed to resist what happened to you. I love you, Louis. Do not want to die, but if I do, I want you to kill yourself." So she's saying, if I die, I want you to kill yourself. What? I love you too much to die for me. I know what you did. I know you kill criminals, and although it is a very noble mission that I have do not stop doing what you do, Louis. Step 1 hour we were talking about, in which I said everything I had to say. I did not lose it. Do not want to lose the only person I had left in the world. The doctor came in and said, "We need to operate Mr. Woods." He recovered. She was taken to the operating room, where 3 hours of waiting seemed eternal. I wanted to gouge my eyes out of despair, but hope that Susan survived was what kept me standing. Finished the operation. The doctor who took care of everything, I said, "The operation was a success. It is stable. Awake tomorrow, and in 2 weeks we'll leave the hospital." Those words moved me so much. I felt so peaceful to know that Susan would be fine. I was in his room all day, waiting for him to wake. Woke up and said, "Who are you and where are Mom and Dad?" Those words filled me with sadness. Susan had forgotten me, but I remember. When recovered, I took her to the hospital where we met, said, "Are you Louis? As you've changed." She began to remember. I took her to my old house, and we remembered what we were there, following taking it to all the places significant to us in the course of the week, until we reached the restaurant where I proposed. She remembered all, hugging me, and said, "Louis, I remember and all. Thanks for being with me until I recovered." And I said, You did the same for me. I owe many things, Susan." Kissed her, but when we separated, began to convulse. Scared me a lot and took her to hospital. Back at the hospital, I could go on, but I loved her. Not to leave her alone when she needed me. I was there waiting news doctor, and he said, "I'm sorry, sir, but your girlfriend is dead." What? That phrase filled me with sadness and hatred. Take the doctor and trone the neck. There was no reason to hold back. I started to kill everyone in the hospital. Men, women, children, and the sick. Kill them all. I could not bear to live, and my Susan, she could not die like this. I would not let that happen, but it was inevitable. My clothes were full of blood of the innocent. My hands were full of blood and my eyes had changed, so I decided to do something. I went for a knife and started to cut a heart into my chest with the initials of Susan and her time of death, our anniversary, and the date on which we met. Then went for a needle and thread, and I sewed the end of my lips into a smile. Of course. For anyone to see and suffer inside. When finished, went home. Took my clothes, leather, and things that used to kill, and got out of there. Never to return ever. Now living, killing everyone to be happy. Because if Susan is not alive, no one else deserves it. But when I die, you will not be able to see it. But kill consoles me if you see me run and do not show your happiness. Or you will die a merciless and twisted so that your body cannot distinguish from what it was before meeting me, the murderer Louis, survivor Jeff the Killer. That was so scary. Oh my god, I'm gonna have nightmares for days.